Hey everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video where we are making another Halloween inspired soap. This was a bit of a spur of the moment kind of soap for me. I didn't really have plans to make it, but we'd gone into TK Maxx. I was going to call it TJ Maxx then because I've discovered that's what it's actually called in America. But we went into TK Maxx, as it's called here, and I was looking for some Halloween decorations for the shop, and I kept seeing these little ghosts on things, and I suddenly got this inspiration to make us a little ghost inspired soap. So the first thing we're going to go and do is make the little ghost embeds to go on the top of this soap. Let's go. Okay, so we're going to make some little ghosts, or my Little Booz, to go on the top of the next soap. They are very, very easy. A few little fiddly bits, but they are easy. You don't need any fancy equipment to do them. I will be using some of the Pimp My Soap soap dough. We've got some milk, I've got orange, and I've got some black, and you really don't need much of these two at all. And then I've just got some of my basic tools that I use for most of my sort of soap dough creations. I have got this one here that's got like a little silicone end, which is really good for smoothing soap down. I've got my paintbrush, I have one of my ball tools, and I have my skewer as well. The other thing I've got my bottle of titanium dioxide over here too. What we'll do is we'll start off by making the eyes, and this is perhaps the most fiddliest part of them because they are just so tiny along with the mouth. I have got just a tiny little piece of the orange soap dough here, and I've literally taken off just a tiny little bit. I'm going to roll it into a ball and squish it down between my fingers until I get that nice little round piece. I'm going to pop them on my scale so I don't actually lose these pieces. I'm going to pop that one on there, and then I'm going to do another one that is roughly the same size. So again, into a ball and then squish it flat like so. And that's going to be kind of the background of our eyes, and that's all I need of my orange. You could do this part in any colour you want really, but I do recommend making it with another colour because it really makes the eyes pop. Next thing I'm going to do is grab some black, and again I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but this time I'm going to make them just that little bit smaller. So we're going to grab just a very, very small amount, and I do find it helps to roll it into a ball first and then squish it down. So we've got a piece like that. I have got my water here and my paintbrush. I can put a bit of water on one of those orange pieces. Use my skewer, and I'm going to move that black piece onto my orange like so, and then do another piece. So we make our two little eyes. That bit's a bit too big. I promise this is the most fiddliest bit of making these little ghosts. Put a bit more water on that one. Alright, and there are the start of our two little eyes just there. And I'm going to leave them like that for now. We'll finish the eyes off once we've got it all together so we don't get in a mess. With this last little bit of black I've got here, I'm just going to roll myself out a really, really thin little sausage piece. I've quite literally got this tiny bit here, and then I'm going to cut that in half because I really only need the smallest, tiniest little bit. And I'm just going to put it into a bit of a crescent shape. Actually, we won't do that one because I've squished it. Right, so there is this other piece which will come to life in a little bit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is grab some of our milk soap dough, and I'm going to break a piece off that is about 2 grams, and we're going to create the head. There we go. And then to do that, all I'm going to do is take that piece, I'm going to roll it round until we get into a ball. And then once we're in that ball, I'm just going to roll it backwards and forwards to make a bit of a teardrop shape. So you can see like that. And then I'm going to take that end piece I'm going to kind of squish and move it over so that it creates that famous little hook that we see on Casper the Ghost. It is so super cute once this all comes together. Next thing I'm going to do is take my skewer, and I'm going to take the flat end. I just dip it into my water, and then I'm going to put in 2 indents, roughly where I want the eyes to go. And then what we're going to do is pick up each of these little eye pieces and pop them into those indents. And the reason for popping that water on the end of my skewer is that I know that that bit of soap is wet and it's going to adhere nicely. I'm then going to get a little bit more water just to brush over the end there, and I'm going to grab myself that little tiny piece of black that we did, and I'm going to pop that on the bottom, making sure that the little curve goes up. And the smaller you can make that curve, the cuter it makes that little smile on him. So now that we've got the head, let's make the body. For the body, again, I'm going to grab a piece of that milk, and this time I'm going to weigh out 2.5. So it's a little bit bigger than the head, and I seem to find that this keeps it looking fairly proportionate. So we've got enough there, and again I'm going to do exactly the same as what I did with the head. Roll it into a ball and then pop it into a tear shape. I'm going to make this tear shape a little bit more pronounced though this time. So let's roll it out, and then I'm going to start to roll that tear shape. So you can see this time I have got a slightly bigger tear shape, and what I'm going to do is lie it on its side and then push that end so it comes back up. And what we end up with is, after a little bit of shaping, we end up with a little body on the bottom there, so that little curved end. And it also gives me a nice little flat surface to sit my embed on. What I'm now going to do is grab my skewer, just going to get some water on the end, rough up the top just a little bit because I find that this helps the head to stick. And then we're going to grab our little head and pop him straight on like so. He's already starting to come to life, but what we need to do next is make some little arms for him. And to do that, I'm just going to grab myself a bit more of that milk soap dough. Really don't need much for the arms. So we're going to get that, roll it into a bit of a sausage. We will then cut that piece in half to make our 2 little arms. And I'm just going to roll it so we end up with a little tapered end. So we've got a piece that looks like that. Gonna do the same to this piece, that they look roughly the same. They're never gonna be exactly perfect, but we'll get them as close to looking the same as we can. And then what I'm gonna do is grab my brush, and I'm gonna put some water on both sides of my little ghost, and then I'm gonna pop his hands just where I want them. And this is where you can give each of your ghosts a different look, just depending upon how you actually attach the head, how you put the hands, whether they stick a way out or a little way out, or what sort of angles they're at. So once we've got those in place, I take my little flat tool here and I kind of smooth that soap into each other so it kind of hides the seam, and it makes sure that it is then well adhered together. So you can see there, it's kind of compared to that side, you can see that it's stuck down really well, and it looks like it's actually coming from out of the soap. If you're having trouble getting it to glide across, just put a little bit of water on and then start smoothing that down. And then because it's the finer details that kind of bring our little embeds together, he's pretty cute like that, but let's put some white dots in his eyes and really bring him to life. And to do that, rather than fiddling around with a tiny bit of soap dough, what I've got is my titanium dioxide bottle, and I've got like little bits in the lid from when I've shaken it. Gonna get my little skewer, gonna pick up just a tiny bit on the end, and I'm gonna put a couple of little dots just in the black of his eye like so. And there he is. There is our cute little ghost ready to go on the soap. So I've got another 17, well actually 16, because we've got 2 here, got another 16 of these to make, and then we're gonna go and make our Boo soap. Okay, so we have all 18 of our Little Booz done, and I've kind of drawn inspiration from this from a trip to TK Maxx that we did. I was looking for some Halloween stuff, and I started to see this common theme popping up in like all the kitchenware, the candles and everything else, and there were these little ghosts that did basically look like these ones here with the little orange and black eyes, the little curly tail and all that sort of thing, and they all said, "We're here for the booze." And I just thought that was such a cute little, you know, spin on words. And I decided to kind of have a bit of a play on that, but still keep this child friendly, because it's going to be the kids that come into the shop that will be wanting this, and the big kids too. So I decided to call it Boo. And for the fragrance oil, I've got that here. I'm actually using Purple Hooters. So it's a really fun, fruity fragrance that the kids are gonna love, that's got raspberry, orange, grape. There's a bit of green leaf and some maple in there as well. But for the bigger kids, you may know that Purple Hooter is actually a cocktail. So I thought that is just gonna be perfect to go with my Little Booz here. And then just as I was mixing up my colors, I had this massive change in plan. I was just gonna go with orange and purple, still got some orange and purple, but I decided to go with neons. I don't often work with the neon colors, but I just felt Halloween needs neons. So let's get on to doing this. I'm also gonna use a slightly different pour to what I usually use, but I always love the end result. I am so super excited about this. This looks absolutely amazing, and it is the most perfect background to pop all of these little ghosts on. So let's pop these on here. Ooh, he's a little bit heavy. It's not quite set up enough yet, I don't think. That's it. Maybe it was just that one. Let's keep going. I think I just need to leave it sit here for 5 minutes just to firm up a bit. That is better than now sitting on there. Super, super cute. Some of them you can still see their little curly tails. Some of them are losing them, but they are just so adorable. Really pleased I went into TK Maxx. I actually wanted to do 2 soaps this year. I knew I was going to do the pumpkin one. I was trying to work out what to do for the second one. I couldn't find any molds that I really wanted to use or any embeds, and all the ideas I was having, they were just, I couldn't find what I needed. So I'm so pleased we went into TK Maxx. Can't wait to show some of the decorations I've been picking up from in there, but yeah, it's amazing where you can actually find inspiration from. Really, really pleased with this one. Love how the colours have swirled. I'm pleased I've swapped to the neons as well. And one more. There they are. I'll bring you down for a closer look. So here is Boo. I am loving it. I love how they all have their own little individual look based on how their arms are or how their smiles were. Some of them, or one of them, doesn't have a smile, but they are all so super cute. I did contemplate putting a little bit of glitter on here and I decided against it. I am loving those neons, love how they swirl together, and I thought the glitter might actually detract from it. I can't wait to see what the inside of this one looks like. We'll leave it sit here overnight and we'll be back shortly and we'll take a look. Look, our Boo soap is ready to go. I am loving the colours on this. I am contemplating whether to do this on the multi-bar cutter or to get the single bar cutter out. What I'm going to do first of all is line it up and see if it looks like we're going to miss them. And if we are, I will go ahead and cut with the multi-bar. But if I'm just not sure, we might actually do it with the single bar. I'm just going to grab my ruler. To make sure that we are going to miss them all, I'm just going to line my ruler up, trying to make sure that they are going to miss everything. And I think we might be in luck. We just need to budge him down just a teeny bit, like so. Alright. A little bit concerned about this ghost down here, so I've just pushed his arms in a little bit. It still hasn't broken him, it just gives him a little bit of a different character. I think we are right to go, so if anyone else is holding their breath, we'll be over in just a minute. Ah, I decapitated one. We'll get that fixed in a minute. As I said with other videos, it is soap dough, so it is easy to fix. But out of that, only one casualty. But as I said, we're going to be able to fix it. I'm going to grab myself a little bit of water. I'm going to fix his head up. Alright, so just got some water. Pop his little head back on. Poor little Boo. Alright, he should be alright again. In about 24 hours he'll be nice and set. Oh, that is the end piece and that is looking pretty awesome. Alright, here is, oh, this Boo lost his bum. I love it. I am so pleased I swapped to the neons at that sort of last minute of trying to decide what to do, because he has just come up so good. This one did lose his bottom, so I am going to just oh, that's it. There he goes. All right, there he is. There is our other little Boo, and I'll fix up his bottom properly in a minute when I'm not too rushed. I am just absolutely loving those colors. I don't often use the neons. As I said, they seem to be rather problematic for me because they do need that little bit more mixing to get them to combine well and not leave the flecks of color. One of the tricks to doing it is to make sure that your color has been dispersed in some oil first, making sure all the little flecks of color have been sort of broken down and it's nice and smooth. But then I find to get it through the soap, like titanium dioxide, it needs that little bit of extra oomph from off the stick blender, which can accelerate soap making, so I just tend to avoid it. But I am so pleased I did it for this soap, and those little Boos on the top, just perfect. Absolutely love this one. Can't wait for it to cure and get it on the shelf. It's been sitting on the side here in the shop all day, and everyone that has come in has eyed it off, wanting to take a bar of it home with them today, and they get so disappointed when I say they have to wait 4 to 5 weeks for them. So I hope you have enjoyed coming along with me as I made this one. If you want to see final pictures of this one, don't forget to come and follow along with me over on Instagram. So until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.